And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com, www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Go to the website, get the app, and they will bring it right to your front door pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop, or head down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell the good folks at Galactic Fried Chicken to pump it up. They will save you 15% off of your order. Wednesday through Sunday, lunch and dinner. Go get yourself that Galactic goodness. It is out of this world. And look, if you want to get the Galactic goodness and bump into me, I will be there for dinner tomorrow around 6:00. So make your family plans and come have dinner with me and my family at Galactic Fried Chicken tomorrow night. All right, Aaron, it is Thursday night. And on Thursday nights, we take a look back at the week that was. And my favorite part in this case, Aaron, Tuesday and Wednesday. We know during the week, all these games are going to be, there'll be some, a big Monday sprinkled in starting, I don't know if it's next week or the following week when UC plays Kansas. But for the most part, like we know exactly, what these things are going to look like. And we'll be able to do this show without having to worry about Thursday games because they don't play them. They play on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and that's it. And I, for one, love it. Well, it was a very interesting week in the Big 12, Aaron. I think that before we get into it, what we learned is what we expected. Winning on the road in this league is going to be a monster. That adds some significance to UC's win over BYU. It also is a little added kick in the stones that they weren't able to close out Texas. Because holding serve at home is going to be critical in this league, and it is not going to be easy. Would you like proof that it's not going to be easy, Aaron?
I mean, sure.
How about the first game that we're going to talk about this week? As number 2 Houston rolled into Iowa State, and they found out. Iowa State 57, Houston 53. Houston had a 21-point first half, a 32-point second half, and Iowa State gets their first Big 12 win of the season and does it in very impressive fashion, taking down number 2 Houston and knocking them from the ranks of the unbeaten in their first ever Big 12 road game. Welcome to the league, number 2 Houston.
I feel like I got because I watched on Saturday an Iowa State team take on Oklahoma at Oklahoma, and I thought Iowa State looked normal, like it just looked like a team. Like,
yeah,
but nothing that I was scared of. And Houston goes to Iowa State, and it's a buzzsaw. So I don't know if that's an indictment on Houston had an off night.
They scored 21 points in a half. They had an off night.
But that's what this league is. That's what this conference is, and hat tip to Iowa State. You got it done to a team who had not lost this season. And I would not have guessed it would have been Iowa State with the first L in that column for Houston.
Well, there is this little thing in Ames that's called Hilton Magic, and it jumped up. It's gotten highly ranked teams a lot over the years. Even when Iowa State hasn't had good teams, they've been able to turn that home court advantage into a monster and knock off Kansas and Baylor and some teams that are have been perennially very good of late. And they got Houston. Kudos. TJ Otzelberger is a really good coach. They play good defense. They've got a good young core, and they were able to stymie that Houston offense. And I mean, just an impressive win for Iowa State. And when you're in this league, you play well, and guess what? All of a sudden, you can pick up the biggest win in the country, basically on any given night any given week in this league. So that's where we start, is Iowa State knocking off what was at that point the lone unbeaten remaining in America. Also that night, Baylor 81-72 over BYU. BYU was up by 6 at the half. Baylor controlled that game late. I mean, it almost, Aaron, looked like a carbon copy of the UC game, where BYU was ahead, and then it got a little tight at the 12-minute mark, and then at the 8-minute mark, all the way to the end, Baylor took control and pulled away a little bit from BYU. Baylor's very good. I think if you can at least limit them from 3, where they shoot 44.9% on the season, if you can at least limit them from 3, you're going to have a chance. Their defense isn't great. It's okay. You can pound them inside a little bit, but their offense is so good that when they get on a run like they did in those final 10 minutes against BYU, you in trouble, son.
Well, one thing that these two teams have in common is they run a short bench. Baylor really runs 2 guys off their bench. The other 2 had 3 minutes each. I wouldn't call that really depth on your bench.
Right.
BYU, on the other hand, runs 3 with a 4th getting single-digit minutes there as well. So, I mean, I guess that's one thing that we have, that you can outrun Baylor essentially if you can just keep them on their heels throughout the game. What's one of the things that we talked about, though? We didn't want Baylor coming in on a loss. So I'm
right.
very happy that Baylor won this game at home. Otherwise, I think you would have been seeing a little angrier Baylor Bears team coming into or hosting Cincinnati as they go to Baylor this week.
I mean, when you look at it, Aaron, especially from their guards and wings, Bridges 36 minutes, Nunn 29 minutes, Walter 29 minutes, Dennis 30 minutes, Love 30 minutes. They are very good at the guard and wing spots, but there's no depth behind them. Could be a good game if you're UC. Try to play downhill and see if you can maybe get them in foul trouble, because they don't have a lot of answers on the bench. But in that game, they shoot, remember, that 44.9% on the year from 3, 10 of 23, 43.5%. That 23 of their 58 shots were from 3. Bridges goes 3 of 6, Nunn 2 of 4, Walter 2 of 5, and Love 3 of 4. That's how they get you. That's how they get you. So 81-72 Baylor there. Baylor moves to 2-0 in the conference. BYU now down to 0-2 from number 2 in the net, number 3 in the net last weekend, to 0-2 in the league 5 days later. Well, welcome to the Big 12, Baylor. Kansas State had their way with West Virginia, 81-67. It was close at halftime. West Virginia leading 42-40. Kansas State controls the second half, 41-25. And Raekwon Battle is starting to find his legs for West Virginia. He had 21 points. But defensively, West Virginia just does not look good right now, and their offense is okay.
They're a weird team, and you feel bad for the kids for everything that happened with the offseason and, former Bearcat legend of lore, Bob Huggins.
Lamar Johnson? Oh, Bob Huggins. Okay.
But it is what it is. And the season does go on. And I'm curious to see if at any point in time West Virginia is able to right this ship or not.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to play better defense. It wasn't like Kansas State had an outburst. They scored 40 in the first half, 41 in the second.
Yeah.
That ain't going to cut it in this league, giving up 80. Speaking of giving up 80, how about Texas Tech? 90-73 over Oklahoma State. It is becoming clear there are 12 teams in this league that are pretty dang good. including one we'll get to in a second, that maybe wasn't on this list initially, but Virginia and Oklahoma State are 13 and 14. I think that's pretty clear at the moment.
Yeah. I don't know that I don't even know that you can argue.
Yeah. Especially when one of those teams that you maybe could have argued 65-60 last night, UCF knocks off Kansas.
Right.
And a game that it was a weird one, Aaron, because the metrics said they were very clear that UCF had a chance to win this game. There were a few of them that only had Kansas as like a 1 or 2 point favorite. The Vegas line was obviously higher, but UCF at home, they're this kind of a Johnny Dawkins team. They're long, they're athletic, they can defend. They're not great on offense, but when they get you in their place and they drag you down into a rock fight, Kansas scored 20. They were up 16 in the first half, Aaron. And that UCF started the game 7-0. And at one point, Kansas was up 16 in the first half. And then they scored 23 points in the second half and lose by 5 in a game that, I mean, we were talking about it live on the air. UCF controlled, like they were leading from the 8-minute mark all the way to the end.
I just don't understand how Vegas knew something was up with this game. 6.5 points was what I saw the opening line for this game, with Kansas being favored, and everyone said that was. I feel like people were calling it like something about a rat, like a rat bet or something like that. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the lingo that I was seeing, but turned out to be just a bad move if you put money on Kansas, clearly. But I don't understand how you knew that UCF was going to only to favor Kansas by 6.5, and then UCF pulled the upset. Just very strange to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's still something to be said. I think we look at UCF and think of them less favorably than what they actually are. I mean, they were right in that 70s, upper 70s, lower 80s range in the metrics, which you're still a top 100 team at home. Like, you can give a team fits. You're not supposed to win, obviously, but hey, first home game for UCF in Big 12 play, and they knock off Kansas. As much as I hate to do it,
right?
Well done, Knights of Gold. And I still don't know that I believe Hunter Dickinson's a winner. That's going to blow up in my face when Kansas wins the national championship.
Probably.
But they should be 0-2. They should be 0-2 in the league. They should have lost to TCU. TCU was better than Kansas for the large majority of that game. And then the Fog Allen whistle comes in and gets them. Speaking of TCU, 80-71 over Oklahoma. Oklahoma was number 9 in the country coming into the game. And Emmanuel Miller, man, he can go. He can go. 27 points, 9 rebounds for TCU. And boy, that TCU team to me looks good. I'm befuddled. I mean, Clemson is good, but they lose against Clemson. They lose against Nevada. Nevada got them by 13. That is not the team that I watched play Kansas or the team that handled Oklahoma last night. Because I think right now, TCU is a sleeper to potentially be in the mix to win this conference the way that they're playing at the moment.
Yeah, TCU's been, I don't know, they've been kind of going back to your point against Kansas. I thought they were going to win that game when I was watching it live, and I was shocked when Kansas pulled it out at the end. Obviously, it comes with the flagrant foul against Hunter Dickinson, and it took Hunter Dickinson putting up a 30-burger in order to win that game. But TCU's going to win a lot of basketball games. There's no doubt about it, and it doesn't matter if there's a number in front of the opposite team or not. They're just going to win a lot of basketball games.
I think they're better than Texas. So whatever you thought about that Cincinnati-Texas game last Tuesday, the one coming this Tuesday is going to be tougher. I think TCU's better coached. I think they have a better star in Emmanuel Miller. they're a fun team to watch, and if you go back far enough here, I've always been a very big Jamie Dixon fan. I love what he did at Pitt, and I think he's got a really good program running now at TCU.
Are you willing to put TCU in the top 3 in this conference?
So Kansas, Baylor, Houston, I think are the top 3.
Okay.
I think I would have TCU 4th, and even more solidified now because they handled Oklahoma, who was number 9 in the country, and
right
in that the metrics and the rankings in that 4 spot, I think I would have TCU 4th, and I want a better look at Baylor, just to see it, like how consistent.
You'll have it.
But more so, how consistently their defense is gonna be able to like hold up, or how much their offense is gonna have to carry their defense. They might be able to win 85-83 every night. Their offense is that good, but you don't want to have to do that. So Houston, Kansas, Baylor, and TCU with a up arrow at 4.
Okay.
Take a quick look at Saturday. So Oklahoma, coming off a loss, heads to Allen Fieldhouse to take on Kansas. Oh, just hop back on the horse. It'll be fine.
Only because rankings don't come out until Monday. Oklahoma at Kansas will still be a top 10 matchup.
Yeah. That should be an interesting one. A big one for BYU.
How about the fact that Oklahoma Kansas game though is still only on ESPN Plus?
I mean, there's going to be a lot of that. There's going to be a lot of that. There's just not.
It's a top 10 matchup. It's crazy.
I know. But a lot of these things are determined before the season. And I don't think anybody expected Oklahoma to be good. So that, all of a sudden Oklahoma's a top 10 team. But 3 weeks ago, a month ago, nobody expected Oklahoma to be what they are right now.
Maybe not Monday, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, if they beat Kansas, then the loss to TCU isn't going to kill them.
It'll be negated, right?
BYU at UCF. BYU needs a win bad.
Yeah.
UCF has got home court. They defend really, really well against a team that relies on offense.
If BYU loses this game, they're in shambles.
Yeah. It would be, to go from a top 5 metric team to 0-3 in the conference is just, that's what you're dealing with, because they go Cincinnati, which, everybody thought they would handle, but lose double digits. And then Baylor gets you. And now you got a UCF team that just knocked off Kansas waiting for you. I'm curious. 1 second. After UCF, they host Iowa State. They go to Texas Tech. They host Houston. They host Texas. That's their 4 games after.
No one has an easy schedule. They're all the 14th most difficult remaining.
Yeah. My point being, if they don't beat UCF, they might start 0-7 in this league.
We'll see.
That's woo.
I don't think
but a game that's going to be intriguing. Both teams have started 2-0. Kansas State was a little shaky in the non-conference. They look to be righting the ship. Texas Tech has looked really good in their first 2 games. At Texas Tech, 4:00 on ESPN2. This is going to be one worth tuning in. I think this is going to be a fun game to watch.
I still don't know how Pop Isaacs is still on the court, but here we are. It's a very strange,
I can tell you how, but I'm not getting into it. I'm not touching that one.
Very strange situation. And I don't know. Texas Tech is given about almost 75% chance to win this game, according to ESPN, but ESPN doesn't know a whole lot as far as that goes. Especially
that's going to be an interesting one. I think Texas Tech is better, but Kansas State still. I really like Jerome Tang, and he gets his guys to go for him. This is another fascinating one, 6 o'clock on ESPN. Houston at TCU. Houston coming off a loss. TCU feeling pretty good about themselves. They almost beat Kansas. They beat top 10 Oklahoma. Houston comes in.
Look, I know that Oklahoma-Kansas game is a top 10 matchup. I think this is actually the game of the day for me on this slate as things stand. It does come at a time that is convenient to watch a game right before the Cincinnati game. But that should be a fun one. And I don't know. Of course, me being anti-Kelvin Sampson, I do hope that TCU just rocks Houston in the mouth.
And then Texas at West Virginia. I think clearly Texas the favorite there. Oklahoma at Iowa State. Clearly Iowa State.
Oklahoma State at
they're Oklahoma State at Iowa State. Sorry, yeah, Oklahoma State at Iowa State. And then Cincinnati Baylor. That's your Saturday. It's a lot of freaking good basketball, Aaron.
It is that.
We'll get to that other topic at some other point in time. I don't think we need to hit on it today.
We're at 21 minutes, so yeah.
Yeah. There's your Big 12 look back, look ahead. Good luck. Have a great weekend. We'll see everybody Saturday night. That is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!